She's King Martini up on stage on behalf of.
Remember that, man. All your, every city's occupied. No matter what you're facing, just weather it out, man. Non-violence works. Numbers. Numbers is power, man. You don't have to be swinging sticks or throwing stones, you know? The power of people cannot be underestimated. Non-violence worked tonight, man. It can work anywhere else.
We were non-violence in the face of violence.
In the face of violence.
We got trampled by, or at least pushed around by the horses and maced. We were still non-violent. That was powerful.
They were loaded up when they had the tear gas.
Did you get an interview with the kid, one of the kids who was maced?
We did. We got one of the guys got maced over the live stream.
Yeah. That's great. Awesome. We did good.
There goes Clackamas County Sheriff. Thanks for coming. Visit again. Out of uniform.
Come on, guys. The world is still watching our stream. Someone else get up here and say something to him, man.
Come on. Who's happy about this?
Go for it.
Today, when we tore down that barricade.
Thanks. We'll walk in front of your shot next.
Yep, absolutely.
We tore down more than just columns and pieces of wood. We tore down a system that oppresses the majority. We showed that nonviolence works and that pacifism is not a pipe dream.
There's a new way to watch 60 Minutes on the iPad. See our stories anytime,
even as
anywhere. Available in the App
started
Store
to
now.
think that this was
They're still
dissipating
writing.
again,
I know.
I regained faith not only in the movement, but in the human race. And I'm just so proud of everybody here.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Call your friends. We need more bikes. 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 Come on, if you have a bike, we are not done here. We are not done here. Call your friends. Bring their bikes. We are going to ride all day if we have to. And I say we in the royal we because I don't have a bike.
That's the royal we.
The bikes are riding around our 3 parks. Did I say that properly? They are riding around our 3
You've
parks.
been here all night. I remember you from earlier.
This is for live stream.
I know what that means.
That's a good thing.
You've been here all night.
At the peak, there was 7,000, I think 7,000, maybe 7,700 maybe.
Yes.
Nice visit with a friend and came back, and I couldn't tell the difference.
I don't even drink it right out of there.
Beautiful, right?
Yeah, so you've been working this.
Yeah, the live
Set up
stream
all night?
team.
Where is the media
You
team?
can say hi. That's our live stream team.
Oh, it's a truck.
Streaming live on the internet.
You
You can
and,
say hi if you want. Yeah, and you, Nate, Sam, and
What is Fox News going to
and
say about
Nathan,
this?
Death
The
Kimball.
sun is rising on a beautiful day today. Hello, world. This is how
Yes,
Portland
amen.
represents.
Be safe,
He won.
buddy.
Good night.
He held the park.
You should go.
Came at us with horses. Horses, we stood him down, man. It was amazing.
No violence.
We all won.
Yeah.
Everybody freaking
Everybody won.
It was
Great point.
amazing.
Great point. Thank you. Everybody won tonight, except for the 2 people who were arrested.
I talked to
But,
one guy.
you know.
I talked to one guy who had his toe stepped on by a horse. I don't know, but he won too. But
Somebody
he
wanna
had-
walk through that
there was
shot?
some pain. He's okay, yeah. I don't think anything was broken, but it hurt like hell. When they, yeah, but
Yeah, we still didn't need to walk through my.
No, but they weren't spinning.
it's
That's
not
true.
cool coming at people with horses, man.
No. You know what? It's not cool using horses in that fashion.
No, not at all.
Horses are beautiful, beautiful animal. They don't deserve to be trained to be weapons.
I'm with you. Yeah, and it's dangerous for the people.
It's dangerous for the people. It's dangerous for the horse.
Nonviolent-
It's dangerous for the
nonviolent
police.
citizens-
It is.
Nonviolent citizens of Portland just standing there.
You know, we did away with water hoses a long time ago. I think it's finally time we do away with horses as well.
Yeah.
So, are you guys astounded the way the line just melted there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
What about you?
if let me ask you this: if I play that up big, that's pretty freaking wild. That's not a mistake on my part.
No.
That's an awesome thing.
We're all. I think most of us are still busy trying to pick our jaws up off the ground.
We're still trying to process.
It's really. I mean.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When my kid looks like this, I say, "Close your mouth."
Yeah.
You look
I
stupid.
mean, yeah. What's your name?
Dan Forbes.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Forbes.
Oh, Dan.
Dan. So you're gonna run a story for us about the Occupy Portland? Nice.
Waste my whole freaking night here.
Yeah. Right on. Where is it gonna run?
I believe the Huffington Post.
Nice.
Unless,
That is awesome.
I mean, if things align.
I read the Huffington
believe
Post
that
online
would
when I
be
can.
good.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Anyway. Oh, you filming this? Great.
Yeah.
Oh, it's live stream, so it's always going.
It's always on.
The whole world's watching our stream right now too.
Yeah.
Well, we are very glad to have you here, and we were glad we could show you something that was amazing.
Special, right? Something special.
It's so wild. I left at 5:45.
I know. I
gotta
remember
go.
saying goodbye to you.
And and then I got a 14-year-old car, and I'm driving. I'm like, wait a minute, what is all that noise? Let me get out of the car. And part of me was saying, oh, it's just the drummers, go home.
Right.
Get something to eat. Get the wet socks off. Well, I'm gonna have to digest this. All right.
Thank
Goodbye,
you.
world.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, I will do my best to write something good.
Awesome.
man.
Good night.
Appreciate it.
Good day.
Good day.
I'll say good day.
Good morning.
Not to know.
Oh, it might be
I'm still really geeking out about the final stroke and all that.
Was the
Bikes coming out.
I know. Yes.
Legally.
That's like a total Portland. Right.
The light to cross.
Only in Portland.
Only in Portland would that happen. That is so awesome. And I was like, it's legitimate. Like they had every right to be there. They were just riding around their bikes.
Yeah, hot coffee. Back in, setting up camp.
I want some hot coffee. Thank you. I usually need cream and sugar, but not today.
No, yeah, me too, but
Not
not.
today.
Occupation Revolution coffee.
Let's Reed Parham give me an interview.
All right, so what should we?
Boy, God, I
don't even
still
know.
don't know what to do. I
Like
just
what?
don't know what
Like,
to do.
We planted our feet down and we said we're not going to budge. We're going to.
You know what I'm seriously
and then
thinking
we
about
got our
doing?
way, and, like,
Going
I don't
and
know
getting
what
a
to do
fucking
now.
tent.
Right?
Wow.
That is
Are you
awesome.
kidding? After this?
That is awesome.
After
We earned
this?
What are we going to? The trick is we don't know if we have. If that clearance was
Yeah, we have no
permission to be
idea
back
what-
here at this
what's
point.
gonna
I would say that we should assume it is not,
Yeah.
and they are regrouping.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They might have an idea what happens when they try and take apart.
Well, they certainly learned a lot tonight. I think we learned a lot tonight.
Facebook real quick. I'll be quick. I promise.
All right, to any law enforcement agents who may be watching this tonight, what you've just witnessed is an example of non-violent de-escalation of a situation. So
Get ready, they're gonna come to us next.
Okay. Can't read the chat. Oh no, guys, this is me.
Folks, this is probably going to be my last update because I got to get back home with family and all that fun stuff. It's been an absolutely amazing night tonight. I've witnessed history in the streets of Portland. It was really beautiful to watch the things that I've seen tonight. And every moment,
It would appear that
it just
way.
seemed like
Yeah.
it was over. It just got better and better and better.
Yeah, it would appear on the surface as a victory. We don't know what the police plan was. We don't know if it might be a victory for them. Maybe this was what they were expecting. Maybe this was how it went. We just don't know at this point. There's still a lot of tents in there.
Come down and help clean the park.
I would say dozens of
build
tents
the
still
park.
in there.
Assuming that's what happens.
Still very much
come down and
their setup is in place. But yes, you're right. There are not nearly the
start going back home.
And I gotta say, you guys, there's a sense of completion here.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go home and get some sleep, and then I'll be right back down here today. This is wonderful.
Right here, tweeted 10 minutes ago, Mayor Adams, thank you to us for all the help we opened up the streets.
Mayor Adams thanked us?
Thanked us for opening up the streets, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Is that right?
For acknowledging.
Thank you, Portland Police, for helping to work to keep this non-violent and as peaceful as humanly possible.
They showed remarkable restraint.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm amazed at how well this all went tonight. Portland continues to set the bar for non-violent protests with this movement right now. It's just been amazing. I'm still fucking flabbergasted. I'm also very sleep deprived, doesn't it?
Yeah, delirious.
Are you here for the bike ride? Are you here for the bike ride? No, they're looking for more people.
They're still cruising, yeah.
They'll be by in just a minute or two. Should ride a lap or two with them. Oh, right on. Go get some sleep. Go get some sleep. We'll see you later, I'm sure. Yes. Thank you.
I missed that. Was she just a commuter going to work?
No, she worked medical all night.
Oh.
Good night, live stream. I'm going to nap.
Read.
Well done, gentlemen.
The battle continues.
Thanks for watching.
Okay. And do one more hit for us? I think so. Okay. It looks like Ty just left, so.
20 to 7. Are we clear? Oh, he said we're clear for now, so that doesn't mean we're clear.
Clear, yeah.
Yeah, that would be an awesome idea. And we can always
Round.
And you know, where's Colin?
Oh yeah, it's 7. Damn it, I gotta get Colin too.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Colin, well, I mean, it's just
Do you happen to tune in the radio,
Alright, man.
guys?
I will see.
See you, Evo.
Yeah, it's true, because I gotta move my car pretty quick too, or I gotta pay for a meter. Do we have relief coming down yet?
My phone's dead. I've
checked the stream, man.
Possible end in sight.
The only other person I can make it was
We're losing overnighters here really quick. My voice is about to go. A lot of us got to move our cars here pretty quick until 7 a.m. We got to start paying for it. I already got one ticket this week. I don't need any more. We definitely need some live streamers. Somebody's reading to my minute. So this one. That's right. Thank you, drunks. So I don't have to move my car, but I do want to go home at some point.
But we definitely need to get some coverage
need some live streamers down here. The rest of us can't say live streamers.
Yeah, definitely. We would like multiple people, and we definitely want to get everybody who's running camera or anybody who's going to be hanging out with camera, phone number. We need a phone tree going because if shit goes down, we all should be here exactly like we were last night.
a lot of us.
I'm talking about in 10 minutes ago.
I appreciate you being there. So many times in traffic, you go fucking
No, British just watching now. Just texting.
No, you're fine.
So does watching on.
I probably could be dancing too much, swinging the camera back and forth. Some gal.
Should we Now they got
KMT's been here actually KMT's been here since 11
the
o'clock.
longest, yeah.
Yesterday. I was gonna say this morning.
And we've been
He's
streaming.
been there almost 24 hours.
That whole time.
Wow.
So what are you at? It's almost 7.
Do you have
so
Steven's
you're,
number?
you're at 20 hours.
Do you have Steven's number?
I do not. Since we got a little bit of light, do you want to mosey through camp here?
Okay.
Do you want to wander through camp now there's some light, show people what's going on?
We do. So that we can call him.
Yeah, what happened to Steven? He left at 5.
I don't, whatever. However, we need him now.
Maybe just resting up, right?
Hey, yeah.
I only briefly showed him how to run it, so.
Well, then I can show him.
We can all shoot. Yeah. Let's mosey through camp while we figure this out, though, huh?
Yes, that's him. Give him a call for us.
Gotta be smarter than their
Still
phone.
a lot of people here.
Where's Steven's number?
Thank you. My name's Dan.
Dan Lonnie.
Thanks for that info.
This really sucks because I have to pee, but there's all this media around.
Okay, tell me when. All right, 2 facts of things that transpired tonight. Out of every occupation in the United States, Occupy Portland is the only occupation that has successfully repelled a main assault by the police. And that's not the amazing part. The amazing part is a simple fact. The amazing part is that no protesters or police were harmed. I think that's awesome. It's amazing.
New York not
Not where no one was hurt.
Oh, no one was hurt?
No.
Yeah, Albany had one of the police on their own side.
Yeah, we successfully repelled Portland Police Bureau without harming any of them, and they didn't harm any of us. I think that's awesome. I mean, there aren't any words for this.
It looked like there was a couple of drunk people causing trouble. What happened there with them? Did you see that?
I saw that, and it looked like lone individuals, but I also saw some of the main people that I've seen here all month basically kind of put their arms around these people and de-escalate. I think it's important that
everything that's happened tonight, do you feel like it was
a non-violent
that you were able to cooperate with?
Definitely. I think by and large, I think the police did a great job, and I think everyone in Occupy Portland did a tremendous job as well. I was here off and on all night, like I say, running coffee back and forth, and I think people just did an amazing job keeping their cool and yet kind of sticking firm to their position.
No, I don't want to see you left out.
Dude, I'm just going to keep cleaning up, and then people will
move on.
Yeah, you're a fucking nuts. Move on, bro.
Who the fuck are you? Can I see your nuts?
Who are you? We'll try to reestablish
Show me your nuts. Can this guy film your nuts?
No, I can't say. I didn't actually camp down here myself.
All right, well, live stream's gonna turn away.
So I don't know. I almost. I mean, of course, I'm just one person.
I'm not filming that.
I know one of. I think a neat vision, an alternative vision could be something like we have all these great designers in town, and I know the fire department wants all the range.
Let's get this guy's picture, man.
Well, hey, let's put up this
exclusion
pavilion, and let's just say, Occupy will be down here. We'll be doing people doing classes and all that sort of thing. Make this whole place
yeah, there's a baby here.
The effort on the occupiers' part to raise money to help beautify our downtown.
Yes, I've heard about that. I've not been directly involved, but I've heard that yes, people have been collecting funds, and there is a real commitment.
Hey, if I can find my glasses, maybe I can see well enough to find my glasses. That's a joke, son.
This happens in many parts of Portland every winter. Dogs, we close certain areas due to dog run, where they get the grass off the street and things of that nature. So, oh my God,
juvenile.
Something that's very repairable.
If anything,
we are
you
the
fucking
grassy
touch
capital
Tom, you little
state,
bitch.
so we can
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's get back to
Well, then you should leave. Then you should leave. If we're cops, you should leave.
In plain sight.
Got that guy's picture on camera. You are not welcome, sir. Don't come back.
It has, and if you went to bed wondering what was going on, the mayor, of course, issued that 12:01 deadline. He wanted the occupiers to be out of Chapman and Lonsdale squares. Well, Lonsdale Square is relatively empty of people. You see some of the tents still there. Most people are congregated in Chapman Square. And what we have also seen overnight
Hey guys,
is that
have a cup of coffee over here.
some
Cool
roads,
y'all.
Third
Yeah.
and 3rd and Main, they erected barricades so cars could not get through. Well, early this morning, just after 6 o'clock, the police announced that they wanted the protesters out of the way. They wanted to reopen the streets, and that's exactly what happened. Peacefully, the protesters moved back. They moved onto the sidewalk. Right now, we're looking at a live picture. News Channel 8's Art Edwards is walking toward the mayor. Let's listen in.
Yeah, just stop it. Just ignore it. Ignore him. He'll go away.
Everybody walk away.
There's no.
Leave it at midnight like you asked tonight?
No, the parks are generally closed to the public effective when the
Everybody knows.
Nobody knows you.
So it was, if you read
Mike is a cop. Mike is a cop. Mike is a cop.
That's Mike.
Mike is a cop.
this morning. So
yes, about himself.
In order for us to do this peacefully, we need the time.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know,
Hey, I'm a cop too.
We have troubles like this.
they think I'm a plant too.
Hey, say I'm a cop too
The
then.
deadline has passed.
Cause I cop everything. I said I was sorry.
Another cop. Move forward.
He has a cup.
He's a cop. He's a cop. He's a cop. He's a cop.
Got to the cops.
Hey, the coffee guy's a cop. The coffee guy's a
Parks
cop.
are open until we close them to the public, which will include a fence, and it'll be very obvious when we close the public.
Okay.
We have the whole info booth in a U-Haul.
But I think it might be a good idea for us to bring us
This is,
back. That would be
from the very
great.
beginning, I said that this would be a balance between free speech and keeping the city safe and moving. And I was very clear that behavior mattered and success mattered. And, you know, when I gave my news conference to talk about why I issued the order that allows the police to close the park to the public, you know, it was based on a change in circumstances. I think it's a change of circumstances, you know, that is, you know, I don't fault anyone in particular. It's a change of circumstances that really was out of the control of any one person or group of people.
Some of the police officers have told me that they've actually been on shift for more than 24 hours. How long can this keep up? What's the long-term plan for this?
Well, this kind of a protest, given that it's an encampment and as long as it is, I think is exhausting for a lot of folks. I worry about the police bureau because, you know, they are dedicated, and I am dedicated as police commissioner to do their work in as peaceful a way as possible. And yeah, I worry about exhaustion on everybody's part and how that can lead to unnecessary confrontations. And so that's why everyone's going to have to be patient. I'm prioritizing our work is peaceful over everything else.
You getting help from outside?
We do have the availability of help from other police forces. Tonight was, I believe, largely taken care of with our own force.
Will you give people advance notice that you're going to be fencing off the parks, like you kind of gave them advance notice today that you would be clearing it?
The advance notice was 3 days advance notice that we would be closing the parks publicly. And as you can see, a lot of work has successfully been done by folks that are in the park, by the
Portland, I don't sound like a sports announcer here, but
parks employees and cleaning up the parks. But the notice that the parks would be closed to the public, that has occurred, and now it is up to us to figure out the safest way and safest time to do that.
After you were watching overnight, did you ever second guess any of the decisions you've made during the past 5 weeks, or the decision to give a deadline a couple days ago?
No, I don't regret the 3 days notice. I
you know, I treat people
sorts. You
with
know.
the respect I think
And
that Portlanders
and I, you know,
share.
I think we'd all take
and,
responsibility and
treat
say, you know,
folks
that's
like adults.
not right, and that's not what we're about.
I think
and
that
just remind
a lot of
everybody
people,
out there that
you know,
there are,
the advance
you know,
notice
every
means a
large
lot of
group,
people
there
can
is a
come
small contingent that
join
believes
in
that stuff.
for the
You know,
deadline. A lot of
but
other
one
people
thing
can
I
come
really
and
want to
watch.
ask the live stream for,
and that
for a
is,
lot of help
you know,
with
a
is
potential pitfall.
the occupation
But
has
I
officially
think
begun in
that
Portland.
the
We are officially
surprise
illegal, so we
enforcement
need
that we've
all your
seen around the
support.
country
You know,
have been
you see, we had at
not
minimum
consistent with the
5,000
values
people
of
out
the
here.
people of Portland, have been dangerous, unnecessarily so, and in the end have been very, very costly because of the number of people injured. So there's pros and cons to however you do it. You're going to have critics no matter whichever
in
way
our
you do
very
it,
own,
but
very
you know,
real
Portlanders are
occupation.
fair-minded people. I think Portlanders, a lot of Portlanders are
Energize the
sympathetic with,
movement. Get
with
out
the
here
cause
and
here. But regardless of whether they agree or disagree, I think most Portlanders want people treated fairly and with regard and with transparency.
You know, I was actually already kind of scouting out for barricades, so maybe those will help.
Played out with people back
I just texted Rise for Steven's number.
Well, we're in the
can't
midst
find
of it, so it's. I would
thought I
say that
had
it's
it.
incomplete.
Occupiers following the rest of the country, something in the way you've handled it?
We've not set out to show the rest of the country a particular way of handling this. I'm trying to act on what I think is the values that I've come
see
to
nothing wrong with
learn and
commenting.
share
They left them.
that are
They
not
left
universally held in Portland, but I think held by a majority
We
of
can use
Portlanders.
them.
And I also
Hey,
want to
they're
say
chargers.
that the organizers of Occupy Portland, have been very, very constructive to work with, and I've been with a lot of encampment demonstrations. Many of you have been there with me over the years, and they've been responsive. We don't agree on everything, and in our disagreement, I think we still have a constructive relationship.
Is there a message to them that you can be patient, but at what time do you what time do you at some point.
Well, giving the order that the parks should be closed to the public, I think, is putting my foot down. Executing that order, implementing that order in a manner that is peaceful, is sometimes require more patience than some people might feel. It probably, I can tell you, based on Twitter language, on one hand, it's, I'm moving way too slowly, and the police bureau is moving way too slowly. On the other hand, I'm a dictator. And
Everyone just start drumming.
I'm trying to strike the balance, and that means, depending on what's going on a particular day, our actions will be different because I'm moving with a principle.
Sounds like we've lost the signal there from Mayor Adams. We can still see him, but we just can't hear what he's saying. But I think he said some very interesting things. And Brenda, this is the first time we've heard from him, at least on camera. I don't know when the last time it was. Sometime last night, I'm guessing. But certainly he was not visible in the overnight hours. Apparently monitoring this very closely, but doing it privately and being, in constant contact with Chief Reese and the others in charge out there.
Yeah, he did say some interesting things, including the fact that this was a very fluid situation, and the plan is changing tactically for the mayor's office and for the Portland Police Bureau. But he said once they do decide to close the parks to the public, they're going to do that as safely and deliberately as possible. But he said once they do decide to do that and move everybody out, it will be very obvious. And he mentioned for the first time that I've heard a fence going up.
We'll be putting up temporary fencing around the park.
And when will that be?
Did they get medical attention anyway?
I'm not sure. I would be sending a check page with what it said. And again, people come out.
Yeah, people who
Well, at this time of the morning, I don't have probably the most precise answer to that. I know that parks employees and other cities' employees, along with volunteers from the encampment itself, have been cleaning the park. Park rangers have been in the parks. They'll continue to be in the parks. We've had outreach from our social service providers, human service providers. They'll be in the parks as well. So we're gathering kind of a big crowd here, and I worry about everybody's safety. So thank you for giving me a time to answer some of your questions. And again, patience.
So Mayor Sam Adams there preaching patience.
Go ahead, Art.
I'm going to show you guys
Yeah, that was Mayor Adams. As you said, he's talking about patience. He says that they are going to, the police bureau is going to be working on what they're going to be doing next. Eventually, the park will be closed to the public. They'll be putting a fence around the park, and at that point, they'll be able to go in and do the real cleanup. Now, the chief said a little while ago when I talked to him that there would be Park and Rec Department workers who would be going into the park. He said sometime today they would begin clearing some of the debris out. I know we had Mark Ross on the phone who said that was not the case. The mayor indicated that there has been some cleanup that's been going on and that he believed it would be continuing. So we're not exactly sure how the cleanup is going to get done, at least the overall big cleanup, until they get to the point where they're going to be able to put a fence around this. That's when everyone leaves.
You know, they make
be able to put a fence around it, close it to the public, and get in and really do the cleanup. Now, we were over in Chapman, which is what's right on the corner over there. Still quite a few tents there and a lot of trash and debris. A number of people from the Occupy movement had gathered over there. The crowd is much smaller than it was earlier this morning. There were people in the park at that point, in the park and lined up in the street and across the street. When they moved everybody back, when police came out and said, move on back into the park and we need to open up the roads, it now seems like the crowd has really begun to thin. And there are not nearly as many people out here. Everyone, police chief and the mayor, talking about having patience while this plays out. Back to you.
Art, thank you. We want to go to Colette Whelan real quick here. And Colette, tell us what's going on here. Are these some of the floodlights?
Yeah, what you're seeing is some of the occupiers bringing back the generator and floodlights to its original location. A couple of them thought it was a good idea, that they might need energy, and since it was out here, they would bring it towards their encampment. And then, I saw a rift between the occupiers, and eventually one of them was able to convince the main man that was holding the hostage to
this end comes off the curb.
And he said, what's the purpose of that?
Guys,
at this point,
this
they
comes
have
off the
agreed,
curb.
and a number of them
comes
just
off the
rolled
curb.
it back out here on the
Just
street.
like that over there.
The lights were brought in overnight. If you're just tuning in, obviously it's daylight, but this has all been going on in the dark, and so for several hours, these generators were running these floodlights, giving police and giving campers some light to be able to get out of here. And so what you're seeing is one of these floodlights that was left on the street. They're putting it back where they found it. Russ and Brenda, back to you.
When you say putting it back where they found it, where exactly is that?
That's where the other one is. If you look across
on Main Street between 3rd and 4th. I'll give you a little better idea. It's near the elk statue here on the south side of Main Street. And pretty much smack in the middle between 3rd and 4th is where this generator and the floodlight apparatus was stationed all night long. And at some point, I think during the commotion, and once the lights went out, somebody, and it takes a number of people actually to move this and to maneuver it around, thought it was a good idea to bring it into the encampment. And when we walked up, they were covering it with tarps. But then, like I said, there was a discussion amongst the occupiers to bring it back. And so what you're seeing is them bringing it back onto Main Street, and once again between 3rd and 4th.
You're being kind, right? Somebody stole it, basically, and took it.
This is what community.
Police brought that in, right?
This is what community
they
looks
did.
like.
Yes,
this
they
is
did.
what
And
looks like.
these occupiers decided to move it.
Thank you, guys.
Colette, tell us a little bit about the crowd and how it's changed over the last couple of hours, even since Russ and I went on the air with you at 5 a.m.
Sure, the energy seems to be a bit more mellow. I'm seeing a lot of effort to get in there with trash bags and clean it up. The high energy, the intensity, the vocalness of this group has really weaned off quite a bit. They're a little more calm, a little more, okay, what's our next move? I think they're thinking about, okay, what do we do from here? I don't really see a lot of shouting going on like we saw just a couple of hours ago when the police were lining the streets. In fact, I don't see a large police presence at all where we are right now, and once again that is on Main between 3rd and 4th. What we're seeing now is a peaceful resolution, if you will, to bring this generator back with the floodlights back, that the occupiers, a small group of them, had decided to move into the encampment, but like I said, they decided to move it back after talking about it, and it was a peaceful discussion for the most part. As we watched it, we saw the whole thing happen. We didn't see the floodlight and the generator taken into the encampment. We just saw someone covering it up with tarps, and we thought that's odd. And so then we just started asking, hey, what's going on down here? And that's what we were told, and that's what I've seen happen so far.
So can you tell where the crowd went to? Did they just walk away? I mean, presumably to go home or somewhere else. I mean, are they lingering within your eyesight, or are they just, a lot of the people that we saw just gone?
I have no idea.
Well, I've seen, it doesn't look as the crowd does not look as large as it did just a couple hours ago. I am seeing a lot of people mostly in Chapman Square. There are some folks over in Lonsdale Park, but most of the people are here in Chapman. I haven't made it over to the Plaza, so I'm not sure of the numbers over there, but I think people are kind of talking amongst themselves. Once again, cleaning up. We're walking through Chapman Square right now. That's where our cameras are taking you. There is still a small number of bicyclists making the rounds that we saw all morning long around the parks on the streets. There is this one man running through the park right now. It's hard to tell exactly what everybody is talking about, but it seems to be calm. I'm sure these folks are tired. I've heard a number of people telling us that, hey, I've been up since 2 p.m. yesterday afternoon, not sleeping for 24 plus hours.
I wonder how many of those people we saw on the streets just a couple hours ago have made their way back into Chapman Square now because they've been allowed to, and how many actually left the area. But it looks like there are quite a few people now back in that park.
Russ, they're spread out. Whereas before we just saw a large gathering. Now it's kind of just spread out throughout the park. And what you're getting is our first daylight look since the encampment was taken down overnight. Obviously not all of it's taken down, but this is a very different look from what we saw just a few hours ago even. More and more people coming through with those trash bags trying to work with the city. You talked to one man who said all along the occupiers' goal has been to make sure that the city parks are protected, and they were trying to keep out the riffraff, if you will, from those parks and keep this a peaceful demonstration. And as we've seen overnight, this has been very peaceful. I believe only one arrest. It was a 23-year-old man who threw something at a police officer. He was taken into custody, but that is all I'm aware of so far. Russ and Brenda?
Yeah, and the mayor telling us earlier that this, from the get-go for him, has been about a balance between free speech and operating the city. The mayor did tell us that he is worried about the Portland Police Bureau, everybody for that matter, because of exhaustion, the things that you mentioned, up hours and hours and hours. The mayor saying that could play a part in leading to an unnecessary confrontation, which is exactly what the city of Portland says it wants to avoid. So, Colette, the parks technically should be closed to the public, but they're not. And the mayor has been talking about they will be closed at some point, as he says, when that can be done peacefully and successfully.
Are you asking me if I think it can be done peacefully or successfully, or that's their hope?
That is their hope. So that's why when people are waking up and looking at this, well, I thought they were supposed to be out. Well, things have changed. The plan is somewhat fluid, and it's going to be kind of on a moment-by-moment basis as they assess the situation and what to do next.
Right, and that's the general attitude here, is that this is something that they want peacefully done. What you're seeing this morning is probably one of the more established encampments here at the park. It's got wooden walls still in place. Now, we saw a number of these wooden planks blocking the streets here on Main just a couple hours ago, but they've all been broken down. If you're just tuning in, several city streets were closed as fires took over intersections, and they barricaded once again Main Street between 3rd and 4th, but eventually that all peacefully came down. In fact, it was the occupiers themselves that decided to take down those wooden for the pieces of furniture and the wooden planks and the ropes that they had tied down. And so we're not seeing all of those camps with the wooden planks. They are still, some of them are still up here in the parks.
And we're just showing our viewers right now, Colette, in the big picture there, what Chapman Square looked like when it was fully occupied. And then the smaller picture there is your live picture of this morning with a lot of those tents and people moved out of there. The mayor kind of reiterated a few minutes ago in that live interview, because I think he feels some people misunderstood what his order was 3 days ago, and that is sometime after midnight this morning, they could move in and clear those parks and tear down everything when they felt it could be done safely. He did not order that it would be done at 12:01, but just sometime after that. He also made it clear there will be no more warning. At some point, police will move in there when they think they can do it safely, and they will clear everybody and everything out of there, and there won't be any more warnings. There won't be 3 days notice. The fence will go up, and that's when he says it'll be obvious that they're closed for business.
Let's hear it from the mayor himself. If you missed it, this is what he said earlier.
The advance notice was 3 days advance notice that we would be closing the park publicly. And as you can see, a lot of work has successfully been done by folks that are in the park, by the volunteers, by parks employees in cleaning up the parks. But the notice that the parks would be closed to the public, that has occurred, and now it is up to us to figure out the safest way and safest time to do that.
Again, Mayor Sam Adams just moments ago updating the reporters there right along 3rd Street about what's happening, what has happened overnight, and what he plans to do about this Occupy movement heading into the near future.
Joining us on the phone right now, Paul Cora with the Portland Fire Bureau on the telephone. Paul, you there?
Good morning, Russ.
Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Let's just talk about, well, first of all, what happened with the Bureau overnight? Were firefighters and paramedics busy as it related to this protest downtown? Did you guys have to do anything?
Actually, it was a pretty calm night for us. We had one little incident where a little tiny smoldering fire happened in one of the tents, but other than that, it was a pretty quiet night for us.
Well, that is definitely good to hear, because I know your people have been busy. There have been some overdoses in that area that emergency responders have had to attend to. Can you give us kind of an update this morning about the conditions, the health conditions specifically in those two encampments, the types of things that you're seeing?
Well, I can tell you that when they do clean up the parks, there's going to be some issues that the Parks Bureau is going to take care of. They're going to have to be looking for some open needles and some human waste issues, but the Parks Bureau is going to be able to handle that. There's some special containers if they do find, like, have a needle that's sticking in the ground, they'll be able to get rid of that. We don't encourage the public to go down and help clean that up. That should be done by the Parks Bureau. Like I said, when they get that done. Those are the main concerns right now, is just try to keep the public safe. So if they do see something like that, an open needle or human waste, just contact the Parks Bureau, and they should help clean that up when and if they clean it.
What's it been like from your perspective when your guys get a call down at one of those parks over the last 5 weeks? Have firefighters and paramedics been pretty well received when they go in there to help somebody, or have they had problems like some of the other authorities have?
You know, I think, in generally, very well received. We've had an average of between 3 and 5 calls a day down to the Occupy Portland. Everything from general first aid runs to overdoses, as you reported. But generally, they've been helpful, and I think we've been respected because they know what we're there to do. We're there to help the public and obviously help the person in need. We haven't been confronted by any protesters in a negative way yet, so far so good for us. Like I said, we average between 3 and 5 calls a day down to Square.
And I know the Portland Police Bureau has canceled officers' vacations, and it's all hands on deck. Are you having extra people on standby just in case as this plays out over the next hours and days?
We can't really talk about our plans, but we did not cancel anybody's vacation. But we are changing shifts as we speak, and we have a new crew coming on right now. And specifics about where all the crews are right now, we're Chief asked not to talk about that.
But over the last 5 weeks, Paul, will we need to be adding in the Fire Bureau's overtime as well to the cost of this?
No, I don't think so. I think we maintained just our normal level of staffing throughout the city. We did not add anybody extra for the last 5 weeks. We're just aware. We had some inspectors down there, fire inspectors, but that's part of their normal duties on downtown inspections. So we had a couple more inspections out of normal, but I think generally we're okay on overtime. We didn't spend a lot of money on that, but we were very much aware of the circumstances down there, and we monitor the flow of traffic for emergency vehicles, and at one time it was closed and we had to figure out a way to get around. But since streets are open now, we're pretty happy about that.
All right, Paul Cora with the Portland Fire Bureau, the best to your crews as you move forward in this. We appreciate you taking time to talk to us on the phone this morning.
Thanks, Brenda.
I think everybody is exhausted in law enforcement. They have had kudos from the mayor, from the police chief, the officers who are out there for being restrained and professional throughout the night and now into the morning. Associated Press, at the height of this Occupy movement after the 12:01 deadline, was reporting that there were 3,000 people in downtown Portland, and now you can see the crowds have thinned substantially as our crew kind of makes its way around Lonsdale and Chapman Squares.
Art Edwards is down there, and he has an update now on just the police presence. What are you seeing right now, Art, versus what you were seeing a couple hours ago?
We are ready to...
Well, a couple of hours ago, there were police everywhere. They were lined up, some of them in their riot gear, lined up in front of the Justice Center, which is just across the street over there. I'm in Chapman Square right now. There are no police out here now. It's just some of the people who are left in the park in Chapman, in Chapman Square. They're actually serving a little bit of food today, and there's a cake over there right now. So that's where the people are gathered. They're gathered around that right now. And there are some people who are walking around doing a little bit of cleanup. At the height of everything, there were a lot of police officers who were on the other side of the street. They really basically stayed on one side, and the protesters were out in the road. And at one point this morning, they said, you know what, we need you to clear the road. We're going to open up the road. They made that announcement. People moved back peacefully, back onto the sidewalk here at Chapman Square. And then at another point, they decided that they were going to continue to move some of the people out of the way. There was a barricade that was actually right there at Main and 3rd. They came down and asked the barricade be moved out of the way, and the people agreed to do that. They moved the barricade, so traffic has been able to move through here. Now, we did catch up with the mayor. He did come out of City Hall, and he stopped and talked a little bit about the fact that we still need to be patient with everything that's going on.
I worry about the police bureau because they are dedicated, and I am dedicated as police commissioner to do their work in as peaceful a way as possible. And yeah, I worry about exhaustion on everybody's part and how that can lead to unnecessary confrontations.
Now we talked to the chief just a little while ago. As he was getting ready to leave, he said he was very, very tired. His officers were very tired, and at this point, they're going to be patient. They're going to take a step back. He made it sound as if they do have some plans in place.
Actually, they've already reopened it. They did that themselves. Again, inside the movement, there's people that disagree with blocking streets, and so they went over and moved it themselves.
There's been a lot of communication to you from the PBA, from Downtown Clean and Safe, from the Citizens Crime Commission about their expectation that you would wind this up. So what are you going to say to those people who've been after you to finish this?
Well, again, we're working towards a peaceful resolution, and we're going to be patient and deliberate in our plan and hope to accomplish that.
So that's the thing that we heard from both the mayor and the police chief, that they are going to be patient. They are looking for a final resolution to this, which would mean that they would get everyone out of the park. The mayor says that they are going to close it to the public at some point once they get everyone out, and in that way they'll be able to put a fence around it. The Parks and Rec Department will be able to come in and do a proper cleanup and do any restoration that they might be able to do. I can tell you right now already there are people who are here who are beginning to do some cleaning up and picking things up and getting some of the trash that's here out of the way. So they are beginning to at least the folks here with Occupy try to get some of that started so they can move towards getting this cleaned up and back to a park that will be open and be able to be used by the public again. Back to you.
Well, let me just ask you about that, Art. Do you get the feeling that the people who came back to the square there are just there to clean up and pick things up and get out? Or do you see people you think are kind of moving back in for the long haul?
Well, I don't really see anybody who's moving back in for the long haul. I'm not certain that they're really prepared to move out of here as well. I mean, I think that they believe that things went well overnight, and the folks with Occupy, many of them believe that they scored a victory, and they believe that they're going to be able to be here for at least a while longer. I think if you talk to the chief and the mayor, they say there has to be a final resolution to this, an end to this, and we'll see how that ends up getting taken care of, how that ends up getting done. I think some of the people here are cleaning up, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be moving out of here.
Yes, we've seen many twists and turns as the evening has progressed overnight and now into the morning. Art, thank you. Wayne Haverly also joining us live now. He's on the phone. Wayne, what are you hearing about the numbers of people out there in those two squares this morning?
Right now I'm just walking through Chapman Square, and I can tell you it's nothing like it's been in the last couple of days. There's a lot of empty ground. We have quite a few of the occupiers that are cleaning up, but I got to tell you, it's a real mess down here. Nothing but mud, as you've seen in many of the pictures, and so it's going to be a long haul as far as cleaning things up here. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. We heard with the mayor a little bit earlier about the city's plan to put a fence up around the park. Perhaps that's a plan to get everyone out of here while they clean up the park. We'll have to see how that plays out. But at this point, there are a lot of people that have gone home, but there are still a pretty good number of people here. I would say at least 100 or so people are in the park right now as I look around.
And tell me again, Wayne, are you at Chapman or Lonsdale?
We're down at Lonsdale right now.
Okay.
So we're just a couple of blocks away, but I can see Chapman as well. You know, the two parks are kind of connected. They had blocked off Main, but that is now open again. Basically, it's very much like what it looked like in weeks past, just a few less people.
All right, Wayne Haverly reporting for us live downtown. Thank you. We want to bring in Randy Blazak, who is a sociology professor at PSU. He's been joining us this morning providing analysis. And interestingly enough for our viewers, Randy was actually down overnight in
This is why I occupy.
This is what democracy really looks like. Yeah. So we messed up a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know
so
what?
we're gonna do over. It's a process.
Good night, live stream. We love you. Or good morning.
This is my first occupation, man. I'll take some mistakes. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. You gotta learn.
And you know, we'll see where we go from here, but it's really defied the expectations of what a lot of people thought was going to happen last night didn't, and both sides can kind of pat themselves on the back for doing such a good job.
Do you expect to see this, just from a psychological standpoint, this continue to wind down, Randy, just in people's minds, and the crowd kind of thin out over the next hours and days on its own?
Well, I think it'll reconstitute itself in other forums and places. I think there's a recognition that if you want to work with the city and have a city that respects you and a police agency that respects you, that you have to kind of meet them halfway, as it were. And so I think the movement is energized, but I don't think we'll see it just camped out right there in that particular spot. I think we'll see it popping up in different places around the city and around the region.
It really does seem that way. When we talk to Micaiah Dutt, who is an Occupy Portland leader, he does not speak for everybody because, as you mentioned, this is a bottom-up kind of movement where there is no one or two leaders. But Micaiah Dutt was saying there, his words, a huge discussion is going to be taking place about what will happen next. And that is unknown. Those protesters overnight, Randy, they brought in their replacements as people got tired. They wanted people to come out every hour on the hour, replacing those people who may have to go home and get some naps or do whatever. But this is certainly fluid, and we don't know how that's going to reconstitute itself.
Yeah, there's really never been a social movement like this that's so organic in nature. So they're literally making it up as they go along. They're taking their cues from things that are happening around the country, but also just checking in with each other. And so the future is unwritten. It'll be interesting to see where it goes from here.
Well, there'll be a lot of looking back on this. I think you're right.
Yeah,
however long it takes, weeks or months.
You really have to point out that this is a moment in history. The way that we look at 1968 as a watershed moment in history, I think history books will be writing about 2011, and Portland will be in that story.
Well, certainly depending on what comes out of it after this, and if the movement continues and what it transforms itself into. But I'm talking about specifically just looking back on this weeks or months from now, about how this specific situation was handled overnight. I mean, it may end up working out where although there was some facing off with protesters and police, there wasn't hardly any violence, and this thing may kind of work itself out.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lesson for law enforcement and for protest movements in the future to use, almost like a textbook case of how to handle these potential hot button issues and these potential confrontational scenarios that emerge, and how to manage that with respect all around for both free speech and for the job that law enforcement has to do in these situations.
And the mayor was definitely talking about that, whether you approve of Occupy Portland or not. The mayor believing that most Portlanders wanted to see people treated fairly and with respect. The mayor called some of the other cities and the violence there, he called them surprise enforcements around the country, just not being consistent, Randy, with Portland values.
Right, and that has a certain appeal. It's very dramatic. Then there's sort of the cavalry rushes in, and then there's people sort of hauled off in handcuffs. But there are all kinds of problems that follow that, and having a more thoughtful approach. To have a mayor talk about a peaceful approach. I mean, I feel like John Lennon is my mayor or something. I mean, it's just something you don't usually hear from politicians, and it really is something that makes Portland an outlier. We do things differently here.
Well, I don't know what the other mayors around the country were saying, but from the start, Sam Adams was saying, I sympathize, I agree with these protesters. He made it very clear he was with them, at the same time also saying he had to strike a balance between running a city and letting them do their thing. But philosophically, he made it clear he agreed with their message, and that may have gone a long way with, with them showing restraint as well, knowing the mayor, whatever he did, he was on their side philosophically with the message, at least. I just want to, real quick, Randy, I just want to let people know what we're looking at right here. And we're looking at, I believe, these are some of the occupiers cleaning up the encampment, and there's a city, I think it's a Water Bureau truck. But let's go to Colette Whelan. Stand by, Randy. She's down there with these folks right now. Colette, what are you seeing?
Well, yeah, exactly what you're describing. Folks that said they don't want this to be their legacy left here in the park. They want to make sure that all the trash that has been put in the park is taken out. We caught up with this man. Sir, you were dragging this across the street by yourself. Someone stepped in to help. Where did you find all of this?
People have just been moving it out to the sidewalk to be hauled off.
Dump trucks showed up. I don't remember seeing them.
Sometime yesterday evening around 9 or 10, I think.
Well, I've seen them coming and going just in the last hour. So you've been encouraged to use them?
Well, it just seemed like a good thing to do. I know that if we leave crap around here, it's going to discredit our movement. So, in the truck with it.
And so this wasn't even your encampment. You said you just wanted to make sure it got picked up. You were sleeping out here. What happened to all your stuff?
It disappeared while I was doing litter patrol. So, whatever. Now I don't have to worry about it.
Well, I'll let you get back. Where have these trash bags been coming from, too? I see a number of people.
Dropped off. They appeared around the same time the dump truck did, so.
A number of people doing the same effort that you have been. I'll let you get back to what you're doing.
Much more help today than yesterday.
You tried doing this yesterday as well.
I did do this. I filled one dump truck almost single-handedly.
I said to our viewers at home, you were telling me that you did not want this to be the legacy of Occupy Portland.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I think the last city bill was assessed at $200 just for what we did to the lawn. So if they had to come in here and clean this up, I could only hate to think of what it would be.
Do you think there's any plans to help reseed? Do you think we'll see a lot of volunteers? You've been volunteering cleaning up. Do you think you'll help to rebuild as well, if that's an opportunity?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll be here until the city actually escorts me away.
So you don't plan on leaving tonight, just cleaning up?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a shit ton of work to do. Sorry.
Yeah, that's not the good language there, but okay. All right, Russ and Brenda, the cleanup efforts underway as you see city trucks and trash bags out here.
We are not evicting.
I think you're going to have to remind the protesters we are live on the air. He doesn't want that to be his legacy either. Colette Whelan, live downtown, thank you. Let's talk to Commissioner Nick Fish, who is joining us live on the phone. Commissioner, good morning.
We've remained and held throughout the
We don't have to remind him, do we?
No, he's on his best behavior. Commissioner, we really appreciate you calling in. The city providing these dump trucks for the protesters to try and start the cleanup process?
Yes, we are. You know, yesterday we had a coordinated effort among the Water Bureau, Portland Parks and Rec, and the Maintenance Bureau, and we had a lot of dump trucks and other vehicles out there, and we were able to remove tons of garbage and debris. And we hope to continue to do that. If you notice from your camera shots, we were also able to relocate a lot of people. Many of the homeless individuals who have been living in the camps are now in shelters or motels or have been relocated. But we were also able to get a lot of debris out, and we'll continue to do that.
Commissioner, I'm glad we have you on the phone because I wanted to clear something up, and you're just the guy to do it, I think. We talked to the police chief a while back. He was, he had a long night, obviously, but he said that he thought parks workers were going to be going in to Lonsdale and Chapman today to start doing cleanup and things. But then we talked to Mark Ross, the spokesperson for the Parks Bureau, a little while ago, and he said no way. So what's your understanding of when Parks Bureau workers can get in there and start doing what volunteers are doing right now, which is clean up the mess?
Well, we've got a whole team on standby, Russ, and what we're waiting for is confirmation from the police that the park has been secured and is safe. There are still hazards in the park, as you reported in the past, hypodermic needles, other kinds of things. We don't want any of our employees to get injured. So we're on standby until we're told that it's safe, and then we have crews ready to come in and help remove the rest of the debris. It's our plan to put up a fence so that we can then do the assessment and begin to plan for the restoration.
We haven't heard about any problems with the people who are cleaning up, the ones that are part of the protest. But when we spoke to the Portland Fire Bureau, they said, well, we don't think it's a good idea that the general public at least come down there and try and help to clean up because of the hazards that you just mentioned.
That's right, Brenda, and it's also both the known and the unknown. And we just don't want to put people in harm's way until we're absolutely safe that public health and safety is set. So we're going to err on the side of caution. But once the protesters have vacated and the structures are gone, we have our crews ready to go in and do the work. And to a point that one of you made earlier, we've also heard from a lot of people who at the appropriate time want to volunteer to help bring the parks back, and also some folks who told me that they want to contribute money to offset the city's costs. So we're ready to go, but we're going to wait until the site's been stabilized.
And right now you have no idea when that might be.
I don't. I was at the site for most of yesterday until early this morning. Came home to get a quick nap. I'm here now with my 7-year-old. As soon as my wife is finished grocery shopping, I'll be back down there. But I don't think we're going to send people in until we have secured both parks and we've gotten confirmation from the police.
I know you can't give away any confidential conversations, but give us a little bit of behind-the-scenes insight, Commissioner. The mayor seemed to be giving everybody a heads up this morning when he talked about executing the order to close these parks to the public, and he said it may take more patience than some people have. It seems like he has not limitless, but a lot of patience. And that, to me, reading between the lines, meant it took 5 weeks for this Occupy encampment to get to this size. And we're not saying how long it's going to take to break it down again. So Portland, be patient.
Well, again, I want to commend the mayor and the police chief for the way they've handled the last few days. We've avoided the
And I doubt
of
anybody here has a
confrontations in
computer.
cities like Oakland. And by the way, when there's mass arrests and confrontations, the bills for the taxpayers go through the roof. What we're trying to do it in a different way. And about half the site has been removed from 2 days ago. There's been a dramatic change. You're starting to see the areas around trees and there's whole sections of the park which have been cleared. We're going to continue to hopefully make that progress. I'd rather get it right, but ultimately the goal is to bring these two parks back into full public ownership.
And I asked Mark Ross the same question, but I'll ask you, Commissioner, have you heard from any of your people that arborists or other people that there might be some permanent damage done to either of these parks, trees, or old trees, or anything that actually can't be restored or saved?
We don't have that information yet. You know, there were some, as you know, unfortunate incidents, including people sawing off limbs from some old and historic elm trees. But until we get our people in there to do a full assessment, I'm just speculating. Our goal is to get control of the two parks, do a full assessment, and then we'll be able to share that information with the public, both the cost that will be required to restore the parks and a reasonable timeline.
So, Commissioner, walk us through at least the first few hours of your day. Once you are able to return to the office this morning, what will you be working on?
Well, first of all, I'll be, as I was most of yesterday, I'll be walking the site, encouraging people to voluntarily break down their tents and move. We've had a ton of outreach workers from organizations like Join and Cascadia and others, Janus Youth, connecting with people that maybe need shelter or housing or services. And our goal is to maintain public health and safety for both the people who are there and the people that might be passing by. And also just to keep the peace. We want to do this the right way, but our goal ultimately is to get the parks back.
As you walk those parks, what has been the reception to you as you move through there? What are people saying to you?
Well, I had some interesting conversations, Russ, yesterday. First of all, some of the original organizers, some of the folks that were, there at the very beginning.
Here's our situation as it stands right now. We're in camp. We have no power. We're at 14% battery, which means we're probably now at 13% battery. My phone is dead.
I also had conversations with people that late last night had not been part of the movement, but had come to offer support. Clearly, there's a lot of opinions about Occupy Portland, plus and minus, but the conversations were always respectful. And then I had lots of conversations with city workers and our outreach workers who've been doing yeoman service, kind of dealing with the parks, removing debris, getting in, having contact with people that needed services. And our police officers. And there's a lot of heroes in this. And the folks who've been working long hours deserve a lot of credit.
Commissioner Fish, will you take Occupy Portland up on its offer to help clean up the park, or are you going to leave that to your city crews?
You know, we'll take up the offer from anybody who offers to help us. As you know, Brenda, we have about 110 friends groups that help us maintain our beautiful system. We have thousands of volunteers that offer, hundreds of thousands of volunteer hours every year. I can't think of anything that would be more symbolically powerful when this is over than to have people, including Occupy Portland people, come back and help restore the parks and to have people contribute to the cost of that restoration.
And we're looking now at some more city equipment. I don't recall seeing a tractor with a backhoe down there before. I'm not sure what's going on there, but we see a couple of the dump trucks that look like they're getting close to full here with some of that debris.
Yeah, we've had just about all of our available heavy equipment the last 24 hours has been on call. And when we were tapped out at the Parks Bureau, we asked our friends at the Bureau of Maintenance and at the Water Bureau to help, and they've just been great.
I know you do have to go, but real quick before we get to Wayne Haverly, Commissioner, just give us your thoughts on what transpired overnight. Are you surprised that it remained peaceful, or did you expect it to?
I'm not surprised, and one of the reasons was, I don't know whether your cameras picked up on this last night, but at a critical juncture, somewhere between 12 and 1, there was a police officer in a yellow and black jacket in the middle of
for
a couple hours, directing traffic and talking to people, and it was Mike Reeves. And that kind of hands-on leadership, I think, has had a big impact on this. But if you've watched our police officers, these remarkable young men and women who wear our uniforms, the way they have been interacting with the public and the positive tone they've set, all of those things, I think, have allowed us to work through this in a peaceful, respectful way. And frankly, it's drawn
We do need people that are fresh to come and help clean up.
And we do need people to get down here and pick up some trash.
Well, listen, we appreciate you joining us, Commissioner Nick Fish, on the phone, and it's been I know a long night for you too, but you've offered us some great insight. We appreciate it, Nick.
Thanks very much for having me on.
Wayne Haverly is standing by. We saw him there a second ago in that live picture. Good morning, Wayne. Bring us up to speed on what you're seeing down there.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, we were just taking some pictures of the Water Bureau and their dump trucks, which were filled with a lot of debris here that was being taken away. And now, just about a block away here in the park, as you take a look, there are some folks that are actually setting up tents. It appears that they're setting up tents here in the park. But most of the tents that you see behind me here are empty, as a lot of people have left, but still many remain here. They're just
to go back into our park.
Taking in what happened. A lot of people trying to get some rest, but you can see the big problem right now that the city has to deal with. You take a look here, Steve. You can see down here. There's just a lot of garbage, food, stuff just laying all over the place, and people are trying to clean up here, but the city has a big job on its hands to try to keep this whole situation under control and clean up the park, and that's why the mayor was talking about putting a fence up around this entire park area today. We don't know when that's going to happen or how that's going to play out.
People getting together like this is so
as to,
powerful.
the plans here over the next couple of days.
If you get enough people all saying the same thing with the same message, standing for the same cause,
the mayor making
there's
it
not
clear
a
we won't
force
know
on this earth that can stop us.
Starts to go up
change will come. It may take some time, it may take some pain, but it will come. And all it takes is this. It takes all of us standing together.
Take down, their stuff and
I am so grateful to have been a part of what happened today. To be a part of Occupy Portland, be a part of the occupation movement as a whole.
And that's certainly what we heard from Chief
My
Reeves. He said,
spirit
we do
is lifted in a way it has not been in a long time.
Wayne,
because
despite
what I
you're
saw,
saying,
the power I saw,
there
just
are
in
people out there
people
still
getting
putting
together.
Up tents, but it sounds
And
like
almost
the
everyone here
overall
was so committed to
desire and certainly the
nonviolence.
expectation of Portland police
don't
is
know
that
how
other
today
people
could
will
have gone better.
voluntarily take things away.
Keep going.
Yeah,
Keep going,
there's a couple.
Occupy. Keep
A lot
going.
different situation,
Occupy every
now that
town, man.
We're entering
Every
Sunday and then into the
state,
work week,
every
Saturday
nation,
night.
until we
A lot of
change
people
this
that came
system.
down here really have
The
no
old
part
ways,
of this
they're
encampment.
done. They don't
just
work
came in
anymore. We
support.
know that. It's
A lot
time
of
for
people
all of
support
us
this,
to
cause,
claim this
but,
world as
they're
our
not
own
really
and set it
willing
up the
to
way
come
we
down
want it
here
to be set up, the way we
and
know
camp
it
in the park.
should be
And
set
so during
up.
the week, it's going to be a lot
in
more
there.
difficult to
Stay
find that
strong.
kind of support.
Solidarity
and, you
for
can
all
see that the numbers
occupations,
here
man.
of the dedicated folks that are
Just keep doing what you've been
actually
doing.
staying
People are
in this,
beautiful, and I
muddy
love you, and
park
I'm
now.
going home and going to sleep.
We
Good
have
night.
much fewer numbers than
All right,
we
man.
saw here in Days Past, for sure.
Yeah, you can see some bare ground. You can see that even a day or two ago.
Not much grass, though. A lot of leaves
Been
and
running
mud.
for 20 hours
All right,
now.
Wayne, thank you. We want to bring in sociology professor Randy Blazak. He's live in the newsroom. He is a professor at PSU, and he's been giving us some insights into just the dynamics of bringing this to a successful conclusion. Each side, Randy,
right here.
has its point that it wants to make, and we have a city to run. And as people have been saying, maybe they're getting a little more leeway on Sunday. How does the dynamic change, though, as Monday morning rolls around?
Well, you have to say, first of all, that there is a kind of media image of what anarchists do and what anarchists believe. And then there's the kind of real world of anarchist groups, small groups of people who think that sort of without the need of authority structure, they can solve problems. And I think you're seeing some of that right now, that a group of individuals have decided that it's time to wind this camp down, to clean it up, and to make the space available
Next,
to the
city
public.
officials
They had a
confront the
website,
question of how to
and I'm
deal
sure
with
they
the
still have it,
Occupy
that
movement
had a list of
amid
items that
reports
they
of
wanted,
problems and conflict
people
at some
interested in donating.
encampments.
And one of those is grass seed. So they've already been thinking ahead in terms of
As the Occupy Wall Street movement approaches the start of its third month, demonstrations have spread from New York to more than 100 cities nationwide. While most have remained peaceful, strains are beginning to show after a number of recent incidents. In Portland, Oregon, the people who've camped in two parks for more than a month received an eviction notice yesterday, Portland's police chief Mike Reese.
We're going to communicate very clearly to people our intentions. We're starting that today to give people notice that we're going to start enforcing park rules effective 12/01 Sunday, and that at that point they're going to be subject to all of the authority that the city has around park ordinances and violations of state statutes.
We're all sort of talking
Police
about
said
it
the sites
as
have
a
been
relative
plagued by a
success on both
series of
sides.
problems,
So
including
I'm
multiple
sure they're
assaults
doing
and
what
two
I
fatal
haven't done
drug
yet, which
overdoses.
is get a good night's sleep.
And on Wednesday, a man was
We
arrested
definitely
on suspicion
appreciate
of
you
throwing a
hanging
Molotov
in there with
cocktail
us.
the night
What
before,
time did you actually
doing
report
minor
for duty
damage
this
at the
morning?
city's World Trade
Well,
Center.
I got there about 10 o'clock last
building is
night. I
located
was watching
one
it
block from the
online.
two
They were
parks that have
streaming
been
live,
home
and
to
I wanted
Occupy
to,
Portland.
like a lot of people,
In Oakland,
I
California,
was both
police today
interested
investigated
in
a
how
fatal
the
shooting
midnight
last night
curfew would
outside the
unfold, but
Occupy
also wanted
Oakland
to
camp.
be a
They
witness
said it
to
resulted from a fight
how
between
well the
two
city
groups of
responded
men.
to this
Protest
challenge
organizers
of
said the attack was
moving past this
unrelated to
deadline.
Occupy Oakland.
And
but
I
the
was down there
Oakland
till
Police
about
Officers
4:30 this
Association
morning,
issued
and then
an
I came
open
down
letter
to the studio to
appealing
be
to
with you guys.
protesters
Look
to
at
go
it this
home.
way. It's been a long
Read
night
in
for you,
part,
Randy,
please
but
leave
you've got a
peacefully
semester's worth
with
of
your
material
heads
here,
held
don't you?
high,
Oh, yeah.
so we can get
Yeah,
police
there'll be,
officers
I've
back
had my
to
students
work
coming
fighting
down to the
crime.
camp all fall quarter to do sort of
Demonstrators were
observations
asked to
and look at a
vacate
social
their
movement
encampment
in action. And,
voluntarily
this
within
is one for the
24
history
hours.
books.
The goal to
And there'll be a
avoid
lot
a
of
repeat
stories
of
that are
last
told
month's violence.
from last night
Police
and probably
raided the
from
camp to
future
expel
Occupy
protesters.
Portland events.
Mayor later allowed
I know
them
Occupy
back.
Portland has said it's going to have a big meeting. It's going to
35-year-old
decide
military
what
veteran
its next
fatally
move
shot
is going
himself
to
in the
be.
head.
Can you give us some possible scenarios, though, how this movement morphs into something different than camping in Lounsdale and Chapman Squares?
Well, it's going to have to refine its image, its message. I mean, it really has centered around issues of economic injustice and corporate greed, and how corporate greed has driven a number of issues. This is one of the issues that students at PSU are dealing with tuition just sort of going up and up, and class sizes going up and their student debts going up and up. So there's going to be specific issues like that that are going to be highlighted, and then probably forms of civil disobedience to raise the awareness about those issues and to push for some type of social change around them.
They said, thanks for the heads up.
Yes, and that'll be something obviously that the Occupy movement will have to figure out. And again, a group without a defined leadership, it makes it even more difficult.
Right. Very true. It is a very bottom-up movement, and it doesn't have a leader, which is sort of a disadvantage because there's nobody there to steer it. But it's also an advantage because essentially everybody in the movement is a leader, and they can decide for themselves what the next issue or confrontation or battle is going to be.
All right, Randy Blazak, a PSU sociology professor, thank you so much for your insight. And as we continue to look at a live picture here of some of the Occupy Portland protesters cleaning up in downtown Portland some of the trash that's associated with those camps, we have a lot more coverage still to come, so stay with us. You're watching News Channel 8 at Sunrise.
Service. Beaverton Toyota is Oregon's #1 ranked service department. For a limited time only, buy 3 tires and get the 4th for just $1. When it comes to maintaining your car, there's only one way to roll. Together. Beaverton Toyota. Together we roll.
The new Little Wonder Garage. Way more affordable, way more storable. Starting at $76.95. Only $50 a month with bank approval. Great as a shop, studio, or office. Not just a garage, it's a little wonder. Call for your free estimate. Is your tile or stone floor dull and hard to clean? Give your floors a facelift. Call PermaTreat. Our exclusive 4-step process starts with a special designer enzyme cleaner that goes deep down to eliminate dirt,
distract from our message by focusing on the actions of
Way More
individuals.
Storable, starting
We
at
intend to maintain our occupation in
$76.95.
solidarity
Only
with Occupy
$50 a
Wall
month
Street
with
and with
bank
working
approval.
class
Great as
Americans
a
who are being
shop,
thrown out of their
studio,
homes
or
all across the
office.
country.
Not just a garage, it's
We've
a
seen
little
an effort
wonder. Call
by
for
many
your
different
free
city
We're
governments to
CenturyLink,
try
a
to
new
shut
kind of
down
broadband company committed to improving lives with honest personal service, 5-year price lock guarantees, and consistently fast speeds.